what's an opportunity that a lot of roofers maybe are sleeping on it? What, you mentioned repairs. I talked to some guys that swear by commercial. Like, if I'm a roofer listening to the show, what's an idea or a potential opportunity that I shouldn't turn away from?
Service, repairs, and maintenance, both commercial and residential. I mean, if you can create maintenance programs where you can, create a list of services that you provide, roof tune-ups and clean outs and, even exterior cleaning, whatever you can do to maintain the roof and maintain the home once a year, or twice a year, or 3 times, however you want to do it, selling a package for that. I think that's a big opportunity that a lot of roofers aren't doing, that I think is we're going to start hearing more, and I'm starting to hear it already. I have a podcast as well, the Start Build Grow Show, for anybody who wants to check it out. Been around for like 6 years now. So it's, in roofing specific and contractor specific, but we're starting to see a lot more people talking about and creating programs and trying to, help coach through that. And that's what we're doing. We're helping a lot of our companies implement a service. I've had a service department since kind of the beginning, but there's definitely ways with AI and with, maintenance agreements and different ways to refine that and create, a lot of opportunity. It's a lower ticket, but a much higher margin, and it's repeatable, recurring revenue. And I think if you can crack that nut and really figure out how to build that out to a pretty high level, I know for a fact that that's very appealing if you're looking to sell your business.
This episode is brought to you by Pierre Tax and Accounting, led by CPA Eric Pierre, a seasoned accounting and tax expert with years of experience helping individuals and businesses navigate complex financial landscapes. Whether you need personal tax planning, business tax strategy, bookkeeping, or financial planning support, Eric and his team are committed to helping you protect and grow your financial future with clarity and confidence. To get expert guidance you can trust, check out Pierre Tax and Accounting at pierreaccounting.com. We'd also like to thank Data Driven Decisions, founded by Katie Forrester, for sponsoring today's show. Data Driven Decisions specializes in accounting, bookkeeping, payroll, and advisory services tailored specifically for small businesses and entrepreneurs who want financial clarity and peace of mind. From KPI reporting to fractional CFO support and QuickBooks training, Katie's team brings big firm expertise with a personal touch. Visit them at datadriven.coach to see how smart financial support can make all the difference in your business growth. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Big Hitters Podcast. I'm joined by Randy Brothers, who we met through an acquaintance, and Randy has been in the roofing industry for a while, and now he does coaching and consulting. So he's seen all the things. He's had a lot of experience in the industry. I'm excited to dive into it with him here today. Randy, tell us a little bit of your story, man. How'd you wind up where we are today?
Well, thanks for having me, man. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you for a little bit here. Man, I'm going on next year will be 20 years of owning my own business. I think I've been in it for 23 years now. So construction and now roofing is kind of all I know at this point. It's all I've ever done really I started working construction while I was in college. I went to school at the University of Northern Colorado. And while attending school, went to business school, got a job starting off as an intern, then worked my way up to being their kind of lead superintendent. And my focus there was to learn how to build houses. So I went in and somehow convinced them to hire me with no experience to just learn and figure out how to build houses from the ground up. And was my original career trajectory. So I worked doing that for a few years and learned a lot, learned everything from drafting all the way through, coordinating the groundwork and digging the basements and building everything from all the way to the certificate of occupancy. So I got a pretty cool, pretty awesome early on experience just building a house from the ground up. So I learned a lot, but I also learned that, dealing with a lot of trades was quite difficult and challenging. And I kind of figured out that if I were to become the sub trade, to become a subcontractor and focus on just one thing, that it created an environment where I can probably duplicate and scale a little bit better. But through that whole journey, I mean, the industry completely shifted and changed. And I started my own business after working for them for a little while and started my own construction company. And I never quite got to that vision of building houses. And the market shifted and changed, and I ended up losing everything. So my first go at it was, I learned a lot, but I also learned, how to survive, because I ended up with nothing, to the point, I don't know how deep you want me to go, but, I ended up with, to the point where I was living in my truck, I was homeless.
Okay, this is great. I'm glad you're willing to go there, because that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So I'm a, for what it's worth, this show is not explicitly a Christian show, but we faith is really important to me. And I had a mental breakdown from my first business. I was suicidal. I was miserable. So I love it when business owners are willing to share and be vulnerable. So let's go there, man.
Well, we'll go there, brother. I was very ambitious and started a company, built the company. For the first couple of years, the market completely tanked. I don't know if anybody's listening out there that was in the construction industry in the the mid 2000s, 2006 through 2008 and 9, where we call it the Great Recession, if you will. And I was trying to build a construction company when, foreclosure rates were at all-time highs and the bank stopped lending and consumers couldn't get the funding they wanted to finish basements. And that's why I started doing a lot of basement finish and remodel work to try to build up to when they could start building houses. And I found myself, with the market shifted and my whole business model and the business opportunity kind of just disappeared right underneath me. And at that point, I ended up taking a job as a superintendent for a fire and water restoration company, and got a lot more experience there. I basically showed up and they was like, here's 40 jobs. Go ahead and figure out how to, build these all back. There were post remediation. It was like skeleton of a, fire job or something where a fire would happen in the house. And, I would get the project when it was back down to the studs and I had to build everything back up. And I got thrown right into the kind of the proverbial fire there, no pun intended. But learned a lot there. But through that process I learned that, one, that was to get me out of the hole that I dug myself into financially with trying to build my own business and kind of racking up lots of debt, not being able to, sustain my own business and having a house and having a lot of bills and a lot of things I had to pay for, and trying to build a business from nothing, with no funding, no backing, no support. Got into that. And then ultimately, that's what led me to learn about the insurance world. I got into the insurance world and I became an insurance adjuster, moved to Texas, traveled around the country a little while trying to figure that out. And I thought that was going to be my fix it, my easy button to kind of help me fix everything and get back on my feet. And quickly realized that, being away from my family, being away from my home, on a whim, 7 days a week, you're working sun up to sundown in places that you don't really want to be. That wasn't the lifestyle for me. So I say all that because that was kind of the, as you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but I found myself living in Austin, Texas at a very, very depressed, very down place where, I put everything I had into trying to build a business. I had all the ambition in the world, and it seems like everything just kind of came crashing down where I just didn't know where to go and what to do. And from a faith perspective, I grew up in a very Christian conservative home, and although I was taught early on that faith was everything, and prayer and go to church and do all the right things and read the Bible and do all that, go to college and get on your own. And, I was always taught those things, but during this period of my life, it was, I was trying to do everything on my own. Right. So, by the grace of God, I somehow was able to connect with the right people and get the opportunity to move back to Colorado, which I was from, it was my home, and I got connected in the roofing industry. I mean, so we talk about going in the roofing business or I'm a roofing contractor now, but all that led up to, I truly believe that roofing found me, and it was by the grace of God that that happened. All the things I was trying to do on my own without his, his guidance and support, led me down this path of, bankruptcy. I ended up having to file bankruptcy. I lost everything. I didn't have a house. I was living on couches of friends, and the only thing I had left to do was knock doors and sell roofs. And that's ultimately what helped me start my pathway out of that demise. But it would not have happened if it weren't for the grace of God.
I would imagine if I was a roofer or any sort of contractor and I hired you as a consultant, the fact that you know how to build a house, you have lost it all, you know the insurance adjusting space, which everyone hates, right? Like you kind of have seen different sides of the ball. So I find that kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's divine. I didn't know, right? I was just following one lead to another and trying to make ends meet and figure things out. And
Yeah.
by the time I did, find roofing, or roofing found me, and I decided to start my own roofing company.
Yeah.
I had this level of experience that was just, I didn't realize it, but it was pretty unprecedented, where, again, knowing construction from the ground up, how to build houses. I knew that. I was a full general contractor, had my license. And then getting an insurance adjuster's license, knowing the insurance claim world of everything from fire and water restoration to insurance, hail claims, wind claims. I learned all that, learned to exactivate all the back end of that. And then, then I flushed myself into roofing sales. So I learned roofing sales, knocking doors, selling roofs, figuring out that part of the game. And I basically just put all those three things together, as well as an intense desire to be an entrepreneur, to own my own business. I've had that since I was born, since I was a kid. Like I just knew and always knew that that's where my heart was, and that, I felt like I was called and destined to be an entrepreneur. No ifs, ands, or buts. That was going to be my pathway. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to start businesses, and I had done it early on, and so I put all that together and started a roofing company, and hired my mom as my first employee, who was also like my rock from a faith perspective as well. Grew up with all the challenges we had growing up, and she was just an absolute rock and never wavered on her faith. And when she agreed to come work for me, she was like, I have one condition, and that's if you keep your faith first and you make that a top priority and a top value in this business. And I said yes, not really knowing what that meant. I just needed and wanted and thought that I was like, okay, sure, Mom. Yeah, we'll do that. But it's been an incredible journey ever since. Ups, downs. We've seen some incredible success. And now I'm in a place where we have a very sustainable, one of the top companies in our market. And now we're able to share and coach and teach others how to build sustainable, high level, profitable roofing companies. But I love the fact that there is an underlying sense that I feel like I'm following in ministry as well, because coaching others and working with entrepreneurs and helping people succeed with a background and with the emphasis that, hey, we don't do this alone, has been an incredible journey. And it allows me to kind of do what I love when it comes to building businesses, but also what I'm called to do in helping leaders and men and women, grow in their faith as well.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Well, okay. So, what takes up most of your brain space right now? Is it the coaching or is it the actual roofing business?
Good question. It goes back and forth. I've worked very diligently. I'm very particular about my time and about time management and about time blocking. My calendar, if you look at my calendar, it's super rigid every day. There's specific things on there and recurring things. And I block specific time to focus on the roofing company. I block specific time to focus on the coaching company. And I leave gaps there for my clients and to book calls with me. And what I try to do is alternate. So I'll have a day where each, like Mondays in particular, that's my roofing day. So yeah. I spend most of Monday focused on roofing. We have our sales meetings. We have, sometimes I'll go to the office. There's times in the afternoon I'll work on whatever project or thing I'm working on for that. And then Tuesdays is roofing, and then Wednesdays is all coaching. And then Thursdays is coaching. So basically Monday, Tuesday is heavily on the coaching side. Wednesday, Thursday is heavy on the coaching side of things. And then, Monday, Tuesday is roofing. Wednesday, Thursday is heavily coaching. And then Friday is a little bit more of a flex day that I can, plug in things as needed. But yeah, time blocking. I've learned that early on, and I teach that. And I think being very obsessive about your time and time management and how you allocate time, and then delegating. And at the end of the day, man, the most important thing is that I have an incredible team around me, which allows me the freedom and flexibility to do both and to work both and to be. And when I'm into it, I'm focused on what I need to do to achieve what I'm trying to achieve, but also lead and delegate and give direction to my team and help them execute the implementation of most everything.
I have a lot of contractors that are friends and listen to this show, a lot of Christian business owners. And I'm curious to know, so you've kind of been on all sides of the ball. You've coached, consulted, you've had the service-based business. What are some of the biggest, I suppose, lessons you've learned, to anybody listening? What would you want to impart to them, I suppose?
Oh man, that's a lot to unpack. There's a ton of lessons because most of it comes from
Randy, what do you typically, what are the big pillars of your coaching then? What do you typically try to coach guys on?
Well, I think the foundation of, and this can be applied to most businesses, but there's 5 key in construction and roofing, right? Tech might be a little different. AI, that sort of thing, a little different. But in construction and roofing, there's 5 key pillars. Okay. You have marketing / branding. You got to build a great brand. You got to have a great marketing strategy. You got to generate business, generate leads, right? Then you have sales. You have to build a sales system. You have to have a sales team. You have to have a training program. You have to, be able to hire, train, and retain great salespeople to be able to sell your services. Okay. Then you got operations, which includes production. And this is workflows and all the things that it takes to actually execute at a high level and deliver high quality. And then you got people. This is HR. You got to have a great HR system where you got to hire, train, retain great people, and have a system to do so. And then at the end of the day, the most important thing is cash flow and profitability, right? You have to run your business by the numbers. So those are the 5 areas of business that, are the things we have to get right in order to build a successful, sustainable, profitable roofing company, construction company, any company. And that's what we do. We built an entire curriculum around that. And I teach people, how to implement systems within all those. I'm not a sales coach. I mean, we do some sales coaching, but we don't go to market as hey, I'm going to come and rah with your team. That's not what we do. There's a lot of great sales coaches that we're partnered with. They're in all different industries. That's great. That's what they do. There's also a lot of great marketing companies, a lot of great marketing firms, a lot of great marketing coaching companies. Those we can help coach, guide, make decisions on those. But our main focus is the last 3, from operations to finance to people. If we can teach you how to really build all the systems and processes to rinse and repeat and duplicate and build a great sustainable organization, that's what we focus on, is the back end of the business.
I love that. Okay. What personally in your businesses, what do you feel like is going really well? And what do you feel like needs some improvement?
We're pretty, we've been doing it a long time, right? So I feel like we're very sustainable. I mean, the ups, the downs, the biggest challenge in my specific business is navigating the things I can't control. And what I mean by that is, in the roofing business in Colorado, we get hailstorms, right? So if we get big hailstorms, we're really busy. We have to ramp up. We have to scale up. We have to, fulfill the demand. When we don't get hailstorms, there's thousands and thousands of roofers all hungry, trying to scrape together whatever business they can get. So that is my biggest challenge, is navigating the ups and downs of the weather and the events and the things that I can't control, right? So, we focus on finding ways to drive business that's not indicative on weather, right? We know that if we get it, that becomes our focus. If we don't, we focus on other things: service, repairs, commercial. So we built a solar department, but our main focus is the service department. So that's our biggest challenge. Dealing with the cyclical nature of our industry and of our business is the biggest challenge that I face and that roofers face across the country. Whether it's weather challenges, even in a retail environment. if it gets like I got snow, right? There's snow on the roofs. I can't roof today. I pretty much can barely roof all week. It's been cold. So that shuts down our production. It shuts down our sales. So we have to be able to plan ahead and navigate those ups and downs from a weather perspective. And then you have hailstorms, whether I get them or I don't, I have to adjust my business to make sure we stay profitable, we stay sustainable, and we keep our staff, busy and focused on things.
I love that. Actually, that just gave me a great idea. I'm thinking of a buddy of mine in North Carolina who's been really slow. And I'm like, a solar division? That's a great idea. Like things like that to add additional revenue. It's the same client, just go back to them with a different tool. So
yeah, yes and no. I don't want to get too far into that, but yeah, we launched this division a handful of years ago. Same thing, COVID, no storms. We were forced into figuring out how do we drive revenue for the business, and we launched a solar division. Since then, the entire solar industry has changed drastically. So we've had to adjust and adapt to that. And it's not as shiny as you'd think it is. So now our focus has shifted. So even though we have a full solar department, our focus is now much more on maintenance agreements and service and repairs. And those are things that's like sustainable stuff, right? People need to repair their roof. People need to, do maintenance on their roofs, whether it's residential or commercial. We know that that's one constant that's not affected as much by the economy. It's not affected as much by weather. It's not affected as much, by the interest rates and things like that. So that's what we've identified as our main focus. And that's what we focus on during the wintertime or during the downtime.
I love that. Let's talk about AI for a second. So having been in the industry for a while, I'm sure you can kind of give some broad strokes in terms of what you feel like where AI is like, I guess, where do you feel like it's affecting roofing in a good or bad way?
I think it's in a number of different ways, right? I mean, from a coaching perspective, like we're always trying to help companies create SOPs and systemize their business. AI is helping expedite that, at least the creation of documents and creation of SOPs and creation of checklists and processes a lot faster. People still need to implement those things and actually use and act. There's still a human element of it, but creating documents is a thing of the past where you can use AI to create a ton of amazing content for your business and I built an entire business model from a service maintenance program in a matter of a couple hours with me and my partner just going back and forth and prompting different AI tools to create this program. And now we're executing it, right? So AI is helping expedite like the speed to change and speed to implementation of different systems and verticals within your business much faster. And then from a sales perspective, we're starting to see a lot of tools come out where you're able to help the sales process and follow-up process tremendously. We just launched we're just converting to an AI-based after hours, like customer service system that we just launched, right? I just approved it yesterday. So like we're doing that now where, I don't have to have, we're 24/7 live /AI based customer service representatives that will train and, you train the bots and do the things, but that sort of stuff is going to help, create a better customer experience. Speed to lead improves. Now I don't have to have as much staff focused on answering phones when they can focus on implementation and production and executing the project. So I don't think it's going to, in our industry in construction, you still got to build roofs. You still got to have customer service. You still got to meet with people. So I don't think in our industry, it's going to, there's a lot of fear around it. Oh my God, it's going to replace my job. I think if anything, it's going to replace the jobs that nobody wants to do anyways. Yeah. And it's going to allow opportunities for people to, change their role and do more important, things within the business.
The SOP one is good. I love that because as a coach and a consultant, you got like systems is key. And the ability to like just record a Zoom meeting and share my screen and literally the note taker pops it in and then you prompt chat GPT or whatever, like the SOP thing that's huge. And I remember my business coaches 2 years ago were like, I had a wealth management practice. They're like, you need to have systems for your thing. I'm like, I know I need them, but I'm like taking me forever to create them. And then they change every week. And so that's 100%. I feel like something people, and I love, so here's where I want it to, and I'm curious to know if you know of any technology. I know it's out there, but here's what I want a roofer to pay me to do is build some sort of tool that from the time they take the Zactimate and they plug it into their estimation tool, it calls the adjuster, it pushes the claim along. It basically increases the speed to which you get paid like 30 to 40% faster, right? Because that's a pain point for a lot of people. I'm curious,
Yep.
do you know of any tools out there that are doing something like that?
Yeah, actually, a good friend of mine is a partner, and it's called XBuild, and it's a tool they've built AI based. It plugs in all the photos and Xactimate the original insurance paperwork, and it creates the supplement for you. And I'm not sure, I haven't talked to them at all, but I'm sure they have automated calls and they're adding all that in there. But I mean, it's still up and coming, but I mean, I found it, maybe a year ago is when I first kind of learned about it, but it's coming. I mean, there are already a lot of tools people are using, but that doesn't mean there's hundreds of supplement companies out there. So that tells me there's probably plenty of room for AI based supplement companies out there as well. So I think that's an industry, that's a part of the business that's going to change quite a bit. That and sales, I think sales is going to be affected. You can kind of automate things and make the sales process and the communication process a lot easier and smoother with AI as well. And I think that's going to be something that we'll start to see a lot more of coming down the pipe here pretty soon too.
What's an area of your business you feel like you could be using it, but you're not?
Sales, like that part of it is, I think, and we're looking at with our service department, like we want to be able to create, like have AI backed the whole thing. So where we can generate the lead, however we're going to generate, whether it's knocking doors or however, like door to door hangers, or if it's digital online presence or whatever it is, however we get those leads, I want to be able to create an ecosystem where the entire process of selling a maintenance program and maintenance package to a consumer is digital and AI based. So that's one of the things I'm working on currently.
I love that. Um, okay, here's a weird one for you. Maybe a little bit of a. So I'm in Cherry Creek, and I work with some private equity dudes. I actually office with a guy that does M&A stuff. And what
Yep.
is it? Why is private equity like head over heels for roofers right now? I feel like every roofer I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I'm getting so many calls. Like everybody's telling me to sell my business." What? Why are you guys the flavor of the month? What's going on there?
Oh man, that's definitely subjective. But I think there's a lot of appeal from a sustainability, high growth, archaic. There's a lot of roofing companies that have made a lot of money and that do well that don't have the systems in place that and they haven't rolled up yet. They haven't consolidated. So, private equity looks for industries that have high profit margins, big ticket items, and sustainable models where they can grow and systemize things and consolidate back offices and consolidate brands and marketing and do all these things to drive profitability and package them all together, then resell and reflip. As you know, the whole model goes with private equity. So, I think they see it in industry as a large industry. There's a lot of money flowing. There's a lot of revenue, and there's a lot of bad business practices. So you marry all those things together. It shows opportunity for both good and bad M&A companies or private equity firms to come in and really penetrate the market. So it caught fire a handful of years ago, and we're right in the thick of it right now for sure.
What's an opportunity that a lot of roofers maybe are sleeping on it? What, you mentioned repairs. I talked to some guys that swear by commercial. Like if I'm a roofer listening to the show, what's, what's an idea or a potential opportunity that I shouldn't turn away from?
Maintenance, service, repairs, and maintenance, both commercial and residential. I mean, if you can create maintenance programs where you can, create a list of services that you provide, roof tune-ups and clean outs and, even exterior cleaning, whatever you can do to maintain the roof and maintain the home, once a year, twice a year, 3 times, however you want to do it, selling a package for that. I think that's a big opportunity that a lot of roofers aren't doing. And that I think is we're going to start hearing more, and I'm starting to hear it already. You know, I have a podcast as well, the Start, Build, Grow Show, for anybody who wants to check it out. We've been around for like 6 years now. So it's, you know, in roofing specific, contractor specific. But we're starting to see a lot more people talking about and creating programs and trying to, you know, help coach through that. And that's what we're doing. We're helping a lot of our companies, you know, implement a service. I've had a service department since kind of the beginning. But there's definitely ways with AI and with, you know, maintenance agreements and different ways to refine that and create, you know, a lot of opportunity. It's a lower ticket, but a much higher margin, and it's repeatable, recurring revenue. And I think if you can crack that nut and really figure out how to build that out to a pretty high level, I know for a fact that that's very appealing if you're looking to sell your business.
I love that. What's one thing, Randy, we haven't talked about today that gets you fired up?
Well, that one's a big one. I think, like, just in general, like, I love, from a coaching, you know, building a coaching platform, my favorite thing is the mastermind aspect of it, is connecting with like-minded individuals all across the country, all going through the similar pain points and similar challenges in building roofing companies, but also on a similar journey of trying to grow and become CEOs and good leaders and husbands and fathers and mothers. And that's something that I'm passionate about. And I love, we run multiple mastermind groups. We have a women's one, a men's group, and we do retreats and stuff like that. Like, I just think there's no better education. There's no better way to really move the needle than to, you know, connect with other people you can relate to in a specific industry. So regardless of whatever industry you're in, like, collaboration and networking and connecting and masterminding with people that are in your industry, regardless of experience, size, you know, how big they are, how long they've been in business, none of that matters. Like, you're going to learn from every conversation you have with like-minded people. And I would encourage anybody who's not doing that to change their mindset there, because I think there is like a paradigm shift that's happened. Whereas, you know, I'm a generational guy where my grandfather had businesses and everything was under the belt. Like, they didn't share anything back in the day. Everyone else in the market they were all competitors. Like, I didn't share nothing with them. I'm going to beat them. And now I think there's been a big shift to where it's collaboration. I do consulting. I run a roofing company in Colorado, and I coach a dozen other contractors that all are good friends. And like, we're all like really tight together. It's like, all, you know, a rising tide rises all the ships. So that's kind of the philosophy that I really, you know, believe in, and believe in collaboration and helping. And it's why we do the podcast. It's why we do these shows. It's, you know, I try to share as much as I can with others, because at the end of the day, I'm just learning as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great word. You know, it's funny. I had that when I was a financial advisor, and there's nothing new under the sun for that industry. It's like everybody is already doing something that somebody else did, seminars, workshops, you know, everybody's repurposing content. But so I started 2 businesses in the last year, the virtual assistant staffing company and the AI business. And I'm like, man, I really wish I had a mastermind for these 2 businesses. I'm like, I wonder what someone else is doing here, or how they're getting these types of clients, or what they're doing with these types of, you know, scenarios. And I absolutely agree with you 100%. There's so much business out there. You got to have a growth and an abundance mindset. That's a good word. Randy, if people want to learn more about who you are, where can they go?
I'm on all the socials, the Facebook direct. If you want to, I actually do connect and reply in my direct message on Facebook, but Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube. I would highly encourage people to go check out my show. We have the video recordings and clips on. The show is called the Start, Build, Grow Show. The channel on YouTube is the Roofing Academy, and the show is on all the Spotify and all the other platforms. So you can go to the Start, Build, Grow Show, search it out on Spotify or any platform. You can see or listen to, you know, hundreds of episodes of me interviewing different contractors, different people in different industries, from AI guys all the way through marketers to, you know, contractors just getting started to contractors running $100 million companies. So we've had everything on there. So it's a lot of good content. So, and then at its core, the roofingacademy.com. If you are a roofer and you want to talk and learn more about what we do with the Academy and our programming, and you can definitely connect there. There's a link. You can book the call directly with me.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere because I want to keep talking, but thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you.